right, so after a lot of what we would consider negative reviews, they looks like they are responding a bit to some of the negative feedback relayed to 0.2 Dawn of the Hunt League. Many people reporting the gameplay is feeling too slow. Sometimes this comes in the form of people saying the monster wife is too high, or player damage is too low, or areas are taking too long. In this post, we'll talk about some of the things we have already done and more of the changes we're planning on making. Okay, so they have some Huntress-specific concerns. I've heard mixed things about the Huntress, honestly. Some people are saying that the Huntress is absolutely brewed early, or some are saying like it's good early. So I haven't had a chance to play the Huntress yet. It's going to be been exciting playing, so I'm still blasting in the warrior and going for top 10 ACSSF at the moment. But yeah, let's see what they think about it. So one of the major concerns we have seen for the Huntress is that while the power of the player is locked behind the parry mechanic, true. So this is what people are saying kind of before the launch of it even. Some players do not wish to parry. Getting frenzy charge without parry is an option available to the class later on, things like combat frenzy, for instance. But there are no other early game options that don't involve parrying. True, especially if you're going to put a large amount of the moves, like the actual combos behind frenzy charges. Won't give early players an option to give frenzy charges without a parry. We have to be careful not to make this too easy and remove the rewards for doing the parry combos. In order to do this, we're adding a new skill on the second row of spears called Ko the Weak. Oh, okay, the skill is effectively the same as killing Palma Monk, but for frenzy charges, if it's in calling range, use Ko the Weak will... Okay, so he's within calling range, you use Ko the Weak, you get a frenzy charge, you don't have to parry. Kevin Epstein gives you a frenzy charge. The skill should be patched over in the next few days. Alright, that's an interesting way of solving that. But we also want to improve the feeling of parry more generally. Two issues we have identified are that in some cases it feels like you should parry monsters, but don't, and in other cases you get heavy stunned. In case refill like you showed, and yet heavy stun is a 3-second stun. It's like a Morgana Q of stun. Which means if you get stunned in hardcore, you basically are dead, especially if you're surrounded. So I don't think, in fact, I'll show you real quick here. I'm literally in a map right here, like doing this, tier 7 map, and if I got stunned, it's just over for me. I'd basically be a log out type of situation, go to bed for the day. So heavy stun, pretty wild. We are currently investigating improvements to these. And the other bit of players, feedback from players who don't want air melee rage at all, while the primary role of the class is incentivizing a range melee hybrid playstyle. We do think we can improve on this type of gameplay somewhat while still incentivizing using both types of attacks. Makes sense. The Huntress, like the whole point of Huntress is you're supposed to like melee, bad disengage, throw the spear, go. It's like Nidalee from League of Legends, basically. You're supposed to kind of like do both. To make this type of gameplay so better, we're going to be buffing the spear of the speed of the spear throws generally, but especially the lightning spear. The damage will remain the same, meaning you'll get approximately a 25% buff to DPS from using only the lightning spear. Oh, 25%, okay. Some other spear throws receive slight speed increase too, but they generally have other mechanics and the attack speed on them is less relevant. So attack speed is one of the better feeling ways to improve your DPS, because you could just improve the damage by 25%, but actually improving the attack speed of it typically feels smoother. 25% is actually like fairly large. Let's see here. Player minion damage and life. Okay, so this is where I would like to see some changes, especially around the white mobs. They were talking about this before, but like the minions that are on rare mobs got nerfed by literally 75% because they had crazy amounts of HP and it would be extremely grindy to try to kill them. So it's when it was brewed onto that patch, and that happened just a number of hours ago. A lot of the area of major balances adjustments to 0.2 was the minion life and damage curse for players, and 0.1 in-game minion characters were getting very out of control values, mostly due to being significantly increased gym level on these gyms. This is true. I could kill basically Arbiter with the minion character, or at least up to like tier 2 like pretty fast, and then I ended up dying when I was trying to level up the character, do the Arbiter the higher levels with the Frost Mage. And I had good jewels, and I had +4 on the Scepter, +2 on the Helmet, +3 in the Amulet. Like I have and +3 on the Trench Timber. I have a lot of minion levels, and the damage was pretty significant with the crit of the Frost Mage, etc. Right now, minions are feeling very bad by premature when playing minions, so what are they going to do about it? We previously significantly reduced the growth of minion life and damage as these game levels, and intention was mostly to hit the top in the gameplay, but it seems as if the unintended effect on campaign plays well. Making a change to increase the damage and life the minions get during the campaign to be more similar to before, while still keeping the scaling nerfs that were introduced to the higher minion levels for the in-game. So they're smoothing out the curve a bit. Should be a little bit better on the early game and early maps, and not as ridiculous with all of the pluses of the minion. That's what I'm hearing here. Okay, the most important one, monster life too high. One of the first things that we looked at when considering clear speed concerns was the monster life curve. We found that monster life through most of the campaign Act 1 was probably too high. We have made an adjustment to lower monster life by 25% through most of the campaign, and this just change has been deployed already. Correct, that was a late day 1 or early day 2, I forget. A second issue we found was that the life bonus of rare minions was incredibly high. This is the one that I'm talking about, nerfed by 75%. One of the reasons why this is particularly bad is because these monsters are still white mobs, but we still have more life to glue monsters. Yes, a ridiculous amount of a guy literally have a clip of me, Hammer of Gods, combo like a full Hammer of Gods on one of these white minions didn't kill him. This calibrates players' expectations incorrectly. It makes rare fights harder than they should be. Yep. This number has been set back to what was in 0.1, which lowers rare minion life by about 60%. This change has also been deployed. But large area sizes. Many players are reporting that areas feel too large. Normally when this is the case, the main reason is due to concerns such as monster life or player damage being incorrect, or just lack of entertaining content in the area, aka it takes forever. And what a lot of times people say too large means it takes forever to get through, and also feels unrewarding, aka too large. However, we are checking to see if there are any outliers the players are spending too long in, to see if the changes to area size need to happen. In terms of actual area size, I'd argue Act 3. I don't think Act 1 or Act 2 feel particularly terrible, at least not to me, but Act 3 is definitely the one I think we can all pretty much agree on feels very large. In the meantime, we did notice that there are some areas that don't have sufficient checkpoints, so we're doing a patch. So they're doing the band-aided checkpoints thing in the meantime while they figure that out. Crashes on disconnects. There was a crazy amount of crashes day 1. On launch day, we had a severe and common client crash to town. The failed to deserialize object crash. Yep, my chat was spammed with this. This crash was fixed on the first day, but there are still other client and server crashes that remain. Currently, the number of client crashes is actually a bit lower than 0.1.1 due to the working around somewhat common NVIDIA driver crash. This is what we talked about in the interview, where when it crashes, it pseudo brings up another version of the game and then puts you into that one basically. But the rate of the server-side crash is approximately 6 times higher, which results in you suddenly getting disconnected. So, a lot of disconnects here. Thankfully, server-side crashes are significantly easier for us to debug, and we believe that we should be able to resolve most of these within the next few days. Of course, we'll be able to continue working on client crashes as well, but the primary crash we had in 0.1.1 is now resolved. We believe we should be able to fix the remainder of these fairly quickly, so there's your addressing 2 crashes. Okay, quality of life features. We're additionally working on a few extra features that should be released relatively soon. The first one is adding a system for bookmarking locations on your atlas. Oh, I've been asking for this since the first week. This is something I would love, is a way to have quality of life of searching, bookmarking, looking for, anything related to organizing your atlas better. This would be a fantastic addition. The system will allow you to save locations with a name on the map so you can find them later, save them, but also to be able to search for them. So if we have a big map, I would love to be able to type in Delirium or Breach or, bosses or towers, and click a little button that moves me around the map to every single one of these. That would be fantastic. Another is adding a stash tab of fandies for more items, including stock of of tablets, updated. Yes, more stash tabs, particularly runes too. If we could get one for runes, for soul cores, talismans, we have multiple things to go in stock of the bows now. Well, actually, that's what I guess stock of bows is referring to. So yeah, that would be fantastic. Add another way of adding another way to rebind specters and tame beasts, so you can experiment with these options more easily. Okay. Rebind specters and tame beasts. Okay, I'm not sure what it means by rebind. Maybe someone in the comments will answer that one for me. But if you look at this, Basically, yeah, hunter-specific player minion damage. Yeah, player, like, the minions are you should really say it's the worst spell in the game. Like, plain minions are unbearable. Gauzy with, like, what would have been probably, like, tier 10 to tier 15 gear before, was dying in tier 1. That's pretty hilarious. Monster Wife, too high. Yep, this was pretty brutal. Large area sizes. It's interesting they're addressing this one. This isn't something that I would say is specific to this patch, but it's been something that has been commonly brought up. Crashes and disconnects was obviously a major issue as well in the quality of life features. Okay.
Taking trips, come back at 6, wake me and your child, and it won't late it in.